Hey there, Jordan Chariton, live for you on a Wednesday. It is November 14th, and it is already dark in New York City at 5 p.m. Eastern. Hope everyone's having a lovely, lovely day. I'm going to wait just a couple minutes here as people trickle in to this YouTube live stream. Tommy Tahifi Bayless, our photojournalist, editor, cameraman, journalist, was just live before me. And he's going to be going live quite a bit more on this channel, so that's exciting. We're also live on Status Quo's Facebook page. We just started going live on our Facebook page, and there's Tommy Taihifi, our first viewer on Facebook. A lot of people don't even know we have a Facebook page yet, so we're going to have to grow that. Tommy, that's one of your jobs. And let's see, yeah, YouTube's back at it again. YouTube's back at it again, throttling this channel. So we're just going to wait a couple minutes, see if more people trickle in. CNN is apoplectic right now, absolutely apoplectic about its lawsuit, which I want to talk about a little bit. We're also going to talk about Fox News. I don't talk about Fox News that much, but Jesus Christ. Fox News, just when you think Fox News like can't get any worse, gets worse. And I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried for children. If they're in the room with their parents who watch Fox News, I'm a little worried because there's some serious indoctrination going on with Fox News. There's also some serious issues going on in the Stacey Abrams race and a Democratic Party that, in my view, is failing to do anything for her when there is significant evidence of voter suppression and election fraud. And Democratic Party as a whole should be fighting like hell for Stacey Abrams and against this sham election in Georgia. Hi from Greece. Broken King. I would love to go to Greece. That's on my bucket list. I hear the food's great. I hear the beaches are great. So maybe I'll put that on just as soon as I make some money and Status Quo gets off the ground. My glasses. So press the share button. Let's get this out to as many people as possible. There's a lot to discuss. And we also, oh, no notification. I just checked and you are alive. Welcome to FuTube, Mr. Bridges. Yeah, they don't notify. Unfortunately, they don't like to notify people when we're live here. So nobody knows. We're trying to just push through. Because what else could we do? We're at the mercy of these corporate censors. So we're just going to keep going live, and hopefully each person shares the video, get it out to more people. We're being suppressed not only here on YouTube, but on Facebook and on Twitter. So, we're doing our best to get it out there, and we'll see what happens. And I just want to, hold on. Does she not know? So, we're doing our best, and we're also pushing forward, baby. We're pushing forward. We recently, I think yesterday, passed $20,000 on the GoFundMe. So we're at 20,100 right now. So we're going to keep on urging you to contribute to that GoFundMe. The more money we get in that GoFundMe, the quicker Ty and I can get in. And Ty, you know what's funny about Ty? He was live for an hour. Oh, he was live before me. He was live for an hour and a half. So I was texting him some helpful things. And he says, Jordan always texts me while I'm live. This is laughable coming from Ty. Because Ty just texted me while I was live and calls me 15 times while I'm live. So, save it. He told me that my framing on Facebook is terrible. I know. I wish I had a cameraman or an editor that lived in New York for such things. What can you do? Polish Hammer. Love that name. So press the share button. Let's get this out to as many people as possible. Reminder, this is a super chat and we are pushing this GoFundMe. Here's the link to the GoFundMe if you haven't seen it yet. And we have a new video. To show you. We're doing this new thing. Trying to create some fun content while trying to persuade you to contribute to the GoFundMe. We're doing a little something called This Is Your Brain on Corporate Media. So you know those old commercials when you were younger? This is your brain on drugs? Well, we're doing This Is Your Brain on corporate media. So we are going to compare and contrast corporate media and what they're doing compared to what we're doing. So you could see what your money's going to. You could see the vast difference and the vast cognitive dissonance going on, so that you could know what you're contributing to and what we're peacefully, journalistically fighting against. Sorry you're not feeling well, Bernard. I'm not either. I'm not sleeping. I barely sleep anymore, Bernard. I don't know. Since I turned 32. It's been terrible. So, without further ado, I don't really cover Fox News that much because, like, what exactly would that do? Am I telling you anything you don't know as far as Fox News is basically an organ of conservative propaganda? And I would know because I worked there for 2.5 years. So, Polish Hammer is my alter ego when my peaceful self has had enough and it's time to kick names and take ass. Sweet. By the way, I'm Polish. I got Polish and Russian in my background, so solidarity. So, Fox News, Fox News is very apoplectic that progressives are winning. They call progressives radicals, they call progressives the mob, and all these things. And I generally don't pay it any attention because the more you pay attention to racism and, just propaganda, the more it breeds. But I saw 2 things from Fox News in the span of 24 hours that I thought was just like really incredible, even for Fox News. Even for Fox News, this is incredible. So there's something on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but I want to show you something first because this is honestly scary. Like, my parents, for example, watch Fox News. My parents don't have any young kids, but there's a lot of people who watch Fox News and don't turn it off, and their children might be in the room with them. So this is a little scary to me. Watch this commercial from Fox News. It's not even a commercial, excuse me. They played this on Fox and Friends. On Fox and Friends. Here we go.
Legos, but these building blocks are a little different. The toy company that's making the holidays great again? Wait till you hear about this.
And take a look at this.
So, I don't know if you saw that. I'm going to play it one more time, but they literally are promoting a Lego company that's building a wall.
The blocks are a little different. The toy company that's making the holidays great again? Wait till you hear about this.
And take a look at this.
So Fox News, in addition to being a 24/7 organ for Donald Trump, conservative propaganda, the oligarchy, all that, they're now, I don't know if they're promoting build the wall Legos, if they're trying to sell them, who knows? But that is what I would call indoctrination. And I would say if parents buy their kids build a wall Lego sets, oh, we're in more trouble than I thought. We're in more trouble than even I thought. I mean, you got the Trump teddy bear. I think they're calling it the Trumpy bear that Fox News is promoting. And now they're promoting build-a-wall Lego sets. I mean, this is scary. This is scary stuff. There's children that are in the room with their parents watching Fox News. I've been all around this country. I've talked to a lot of Republicans that have it on all day long. So besides the fact how just bigoted and alarming and racist the build-the-wall Lego set is, and I don't know what company is building it, but that company isn't long for the world probably. How do you call yourself? I mean, obviously we know it's not a news outlet, but how do these anchors sit there and not just feel terrible about themselves? It makes no sense. It's almost like the Hunger Games. You know, the Hunger Games and the judges, how they push propaganda. It reminds me a little of that. Just like really, really unsettling stuff. So that's the first thing with Fox News. But this was also entertaining. And in a way, Fox News is kind of, I think, helping the progressive movement by putting very popular policies on its screen. You know, a lot of people, a lot of Democrats who go on Fox News say, well, we go on to persuade their conservative viewers. Well, I think the Fox News anchors with the stuff they're pushing now are actually doing more of that, and they don't even know they're doing more of that. So I want to play you a segment from another bigoted racist. This is Laura Ingraham, who wasn't so pleased with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rashida Tlaib and two other new congresswomen that just got in office. Here we go.
And the political gender card that Pelosi perfected has been deployed in a new way by all these new gals. Congresswoman-elect Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Ocasio-Cortez tweeted out this picture of themselves at a progressive caucus orientation the other day. Check it out. They're respectively the first Muslim American woman, the first black woman from Massachusetts, and the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. They captioned the picture, Squad. And another photo with the hashtag, Change Can't Wait. Nancy Pelosi might have tagged this one, Mob Squad, help! Well, these women may as well be the four horsewomen of the apocalypse for the Democratic Party, if you ask.
So, the first Muslim woman in Congress, the youngest woman in Congress, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I believe, I don't know if there's been a Latina woman. Yeah, I'm sure there's been a Latina elected. She calls them a mob and horsemen. Anybody see any subtle issues with that? Darth Bong, loving the videos. Keep them coming, Jordan. Your wish is my command, Darth Bong. Feel free to leave a super chat. This is a super chat. So, yeah, first Muslim woman. Youngest woman, a Latina. They're the mob. Fox News is pushing. It gets better.
Me, because they represent some of the most radical views in Congress. Free college for all, free health care for all, the abolishment of ICE, a Green New Deal where the U.S. depends entirely on renewable energy. Have fun on those planes.
Oh my God. Could you think of better free advertising than that? Radical ideas, you say? Such radical ideas.
And on the foreign policy front, they're even wackier. The anti-Israeli bias of some of these junior congresswomen elected is downright.
Fox News is putting on air that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, excuse me, I don't have the other two young women's names. They are so radical that they want to deliver free health care and universal health care. They want free public college, just like K through 12. They want K through 12, a Green New Deal, which is wildly popular, especially among millennials, and the abolishment of ICE. Thank you, Jay, $9.99. Well, no race baiting there. A lot of race baiting. Thanks for the $9.99. And as a reminder, folks, we are pushing this GoFundMe, and I'll be live this Sunday, for another marathon GoFundMe / Super Chat Sunday. I don't know what time I'm starting yet. I'm thinking noon Eastern, which is 9 a.m. Pacific. And we'll see how long I could go. Sunday night's my brother's birthday, so I got to go out to dinner with my family, but I'll be live in the afternoon. We want to get that up. Our goal for end of November is 25,000. We're not there, but I think we can get there. So thanks to everyone contributing. And now we have this very, very nice smorgasbord to show you. You got the Status Coup hat, Status Coup shirt, Status Coup swag bag, Status Coup backpack, Status Coup bottle. All these can be yours for certain donations. You've heard it before. Hat or shirt at $100. This beautiful bag at $200 with signed goodies. This beautiful backpack at $250, and that bottle will be in one of those bags. And I understand if everyone, those who can't contribute that much, but thank you to everyone who's contributed. There's been, 308 people so far. So we are really, really excited about how many people have contributed. If you can't contribute, just share. Just share the video. Ben T, no alert again. WTF? Yeah, I told Ty this. And you guys should know too. So not only is YouTube not sending notifications just in general, they're not sending notifications in general, but if somebody, let's say I publish a video. I usually publish the first video in the morning around 10 in the morning Eastern. That would be 7 o'clock Pacific time. Okay. So typically you get an alert the first time the video goes out. And then I start publishing other videos, usually give it an hour in between. YouTube doesn't notify. They might notify you the first time, but after that, they stop notifying. Same thing for live streams. So Ty went live at about 2:30 Eastern time today, so that's 11:30 Pacific. If you got a notification, great. But you don't always get a notification. And I told Ty, if you go live, we got to have some distance between your live stream and my live stream, because YouTube doesn't like to do, they barely do notifications the first time, but between live streams, they don't notify people the second time, which we're seeing now because the numbers are suppressed for this live stream. So put it in to your phone, your calendar, whatever you got to do. I am live every day, 5 o'clock Eastern. I am live every day, 5 o'clock Eastern. Ty is going to be going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern. It's 11 o'clock Pacific. So I'm 5 o'clock Eastern, he's 2 o'clock Eastern. This Sunday, I believe I'll go live starting at noon Eastern. I will send out emails. If you're not on my email list yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Don't know what you're waiting for. That's how we alert you. Thank you, Kelly. $5 in the GoFundMe. Appreciate it. Keep those GoFundMes going. That's what's keeping us independent. And Jen is hard at work in the background. We are actively looking for different funding mechanisms that don't include George Soros or any oligarchs. Click on that email link. That's very important. We've got to grow this email list. That's how we're going to grow a grassroots media company. So, thank you. It's just funny that Fox News thinks that they're hurting or they're sending out spooky messages. But even among its conservative audience, 52% of Republicans polled are for Medicare for all. 52% of Republicans. I don't think Republicans, by and large, are against lessening student debt. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted about it, had a pretty good comeback. Oh no, they discovered our vast conspiracy to take care of children and save the planet. I'll tell you, she's been pretty damn aggressive in her first days as a congresswoman-elect. Going to stand with the protesters outside of Nancy Pelosi's office. Taking it to Fox News, which I don't think enough people do. But look at that. Look how ridiculous that is. Radical new ideas. Free college for all. Free health care for all. Abolish ICE. A Green New Deal. They might as well put up radical ideas. Taking a shower. Eating 3 meals a day. Drinking water. It's ridiculous. And again, I don't cover Fox News that much because I'm not big on reporting things that you already know. But it's just crazy, and it's such racist dog whistling. When they do a segment on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Presley, I don't know the fourth woman there, and they're saying, "Oh, the mob." Natural Progressive says, "Nice, no notification. Good thing Ty let us know Jordan would be on." That's what I'm saying. They don't notify. I'm live 5 o'clock. Every day, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Put it in your calendar. Write it on the wall. Put it on the microwave. So, I like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm seeing from Fox News, but I like what I'm seeing from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And I believe, based on that commercial I showed you, where they are putting marketing build the wall Lego sets, I believe that we now have to have Child Protective Services watching Fox News at all times. Because I think Fox News is not only endangering old people's minds, they're not only endangering, frankly, my parents' age mind, because my dad watches Fox News. They're endangering children that are in that room with their parents. Build the Wall Lego set. Darth Bong. Why can none of the Fox hosts say her name correctly? You think that's unintentional? FYI, it's not Lego. It's brand building. It's not Lego brand building blocks. Thank you, Sway Ocean. My apologies to Lego. And it's kind of getting weird. The Republicans and these conservatives using these, whatever they are, building blocks, Legos. You got Ron DeSantis during the campaign, has his kids in a campaign commercial building a brick, whatever it is. I think it was Lego. And now you have Fox News. Literally, how do these anchors sit there and are just okay with themselves? I guess the money's pretty good. So from one troubling thing for Fox News, this happens to be on Fox News. It's just a coincidence. Joe Manchin. The Democratic Party pushed to hold that Senate seat. We need to hold the Senate for Joe Manchin. Democratic Party barely put in any support for Stacey Abrams as election fraud was going on there, which I'm going to get to. And press the share button. Let's get this out to way more people. The views are suppressed because, unfortunately, nobody's getting notifications. So, Joe Manchin was reelected. The Democratic Party fought for his reelection. They put a lot of money into that race. And he's already doing the Republicans' bidding for them. Go figure. The Democratic Party fought like hell to reelect Claire McCaskill. She lost. Same thing with, the hell was his name in Indiana? Donnelly. He lost. Joe Manchin didn't win by a lot. I think he won by 4 points. So, Joe Manchin is on Fox News. And Joe Manchin, his plan for, I guess, health care is repair a care. So it's Obamacare, and Joe Manchin is going to repair a care. So let's take a look at his brilliance. Joe Manchin's brilliant idea.
Senator, you're right. You're right. The Republicans kept saying Obamacare, we're going to get rid of it and going to replace it, and they couldn't do it. So the House gave you a version, the Senate couldn't get it done. So Trump repair care, we'll see if he's open to that. Do you think Senator Schumer would be open to that? Have you bounced this off him?
I have. They know where I stand, and I'll be speaking loud and clear, Brian. There's no censor right now at all. I'm basically back with the mandate to get things done. The people in West Virginia want their health care. They want it fixed. We're not going to blame anybody. And the president, basically, they've tried. He did everything he could with Obamacare. That is not okay. It's gone. What we can do is fix what we have in front of us. We know what doesn't work. We know that the reinsurance plan in Alaska works well. Indiana had a good plan. There's some things that we've been able to do that would really work. Let's do it. He's the only one who can make it happen. He can only make that happen. He can fix the immigration problem. He can make that happen by looking at what we've already done in the Senate in 2013 and tweaking that some to where he would be happy with. But it's totally committed to border security. $42 billion, I think, or more. We voted, and nothing can happen until the border is totally secured.
Well, speaking of the border...
This is what the Democratic Party fights for. So we can keep idiots and spineless schmucks like that in office. Wow, Polish Hammer, $100. $100 in the super chat. Polish Hammer. In your honor tonight, I'm taking a Polish... Well, what did the Polish do? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. Polish Hammer with $100 in the super chat. I went to Standing Rock thanks to Jordan's reporting. While there, I decided to whistleblow the fraud that the company I worked for was committing nationwide. They fired me. I sued. And now I'm using the awarded money so Jordan could expose more criminal, corrupt motherfuckers. Polish Hammer, don't make me cry on don't make me cry on the internet. That's fantastic. That's just wonderful. There's a few things you said in there, and I'm going to get back to Joe Manchin, but this deserves my attention. When I tell people why I do this, When I tell people why I do this because when I was at Standing Rock, I had probably a couple dozen people come up to me. I was there 7 times and tell me, I saw your video, I saw your work, and I came. If you're lucky enough to have any impact in what you do for a living, if you're lucky enough to change people's minds, to activate people to do something, there's no better feeling than that for me. There is nothing better than people taking action because you informed them of something or you activated them on something. That's, to me, better than a video that gets like 5 million views. You know, for example, the Donna Brazil video that I did that went viral and a lot of people liked. Obviously, that was great and I loved it. But messages like that are really why I do this. Same thing with Flint. You know, being there, and Jen could tell you this and Ty could tell you this because we've been there a few times together. Having people come to you and just, they depend on you because no one else is doing anything. No one else is drawing attention to it. So I appreciate that message. And I'm sorry you were fired for doing what was right. But, you know, I've learned in my career, being a rabble rouser, not sticking with the status quo, starting a status coup, you'll be fine. I'd love to hear more from you, Polish Hammer, with your story. Email jordan@protonmail.com. I really, really appreciate that contribution, $100. And if you ever got a few other shekels, feel free to contribute to the GoFundMe. But thank you for the $100. We can't thank you enough. Cry, you might get more views. Tommy Tahifi with the $1.99. Polish Hammer, we love you, player. Hey, Tommy, don't be so cheap. I left $20 on your live stream. You live $1.99 on me? Psh! Get out of here. By the way, you guys got to tune in to Ty's live streams. Ty, what time are you going live on Friday? 10 a.m. Pacific? 1 o'clock Eastern? That man, he could talk. He could go on. You get him pissed off about something? You get him on something? 4 hours later. But let me tell you something. He was talking today about what black people deal with in this country, both socially, safety-wise, everything, and I learned something. There you go. Tommy Tahifi Bayless will be live Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So set it in. It is sad that there are so few real journalists these days like you. Hey, Broken King, what do you think we're doing here? I've said from the jump, status quo is not just going to be me. Our long-term goal, I'd like Ty to do more reporting. Jen's going to be doing reporting, and we'd like to bring more people on board. But we need money to do that, obviously. That's why we're doing this GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is really to get the seed money that we need to get in the field. Because we believe if we're in the field, the more we're in the field, the more people will be joining us as paid members. Jen is putting the finishing touches on that, so we could have a membership section on our website, statusquo.com. Go there to put in your email. So we're going to have paid membership. We're also trying to get sponsorship deals and a whole lot of good stuff in the background. And hopefully we could hire other reporters because I have my eye on a few people that I really like and I think are trapped without opportunity right now. Tommy says, I've donated way more than you collectively, Jordan. Go fuck yourself, okay? I've donated plenty to your cause, pal. But we won't get into that. We won't get into that. So, back to Joe Manchin. Thank you again, Polish Hammer. By the way, I won't tell you the story, but I was nicknamed the Hebrew Hammer in college, in addition to Dr. Dreidel and Darth Dreidel. Anyway, so Joe Manchin, his plan for health care for the people of West Virginia. You paying attention if you're from West Virginia? I went down there during the primary night, Jen and I, where Paula Jean Swearingen had a really good performance against Joe Manchin. And bottom line, he is talking about repair-a-care. He's talking about, oh, Indiana has a good plan, and Alaska has a good plan, and I'm here for West Virginia to get them health care. Oh, yeah? Is that why you take hundreds of thousands of dollars from Mylan, the pharmaceutical company that your daughter runs, that hiked up the price of life-saving EpiPens, I think by 700%? Is that why you take money hand over fist from Big Pharma, which is causing the opioid crisis in West Virginia? Hey, Joe Manchin, there's already a plan that's wildly popular. Fox News might have never heard of it, but I'm sure you have. It's called Medicare for All. It's popular among 70% of the United States of America. It's popular among 52% of Republicans. It's cheaper long term because it gets rid of the bureaucratic and administrative costs. But Joe Manchin is, Repair-a-Care, Obamacare. What did he say? Obamacare is gone? And he was talking, if you watch that segment, like Trump is trying to do something. Trump tried to pass a health care plan that got rid of protections for pre-existing conditions. His health care plan was essentially give people, a mix of Paul Ryan's plan, which was private vouchers, and go back to the emergency room. That was his health care plan. Joe Manchin is not a Democrat. He's a Republican. And I personally wanted to see him lose in West Virginia because in those instances, let's send a message to the Democratic Party. You keep giving us Republicans? You keep giving us Republican lights? We're going to vote him out of office. To hell with it. If you're going to give us a Republican light, elect a Republican. In some cases, I'm not for that. But in West Virginia, what's the difference? What is the difference? Paul Shammer, I like Daytona Beach. I went there 2 years ago. Congrats on that move. So, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is terrible. And honestly, as I covered yesterday, like Nancy Pelosi's talking about creating or recreating the Select Committee on Climate Change. That's nice, a committee. And I know a lot of laws come out of committee. But we don't need a committee to do research and bring in experts. We know how urgent things are because the experts have told us. What we need is the Democrats to be bold and say, you know what? We're going to go with small dollar donations. We're getting rid of the fracking. We're getting rid of the fracking and the fossil fuel donations, which the DNC did for approximately 5 minutes. Remember the DNC banned fossil fuel companies' donations for a month before they reversed course? It's ridiculous. And I'm a fan of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and I think she's being diplomatic as she walks in the building, and she doesn't want to just say, hey, that's what I think of you, Nancy. But really, a committee? And by the way, if you live in California, Nancy Pelosi behind the scenes was the reason that single payer got shot down in California. I believe it passed the Senate, and the House Speaker in California killed it. Terrible. So before I move on to my next topic, I want to show you we're doing something a little different. And Colin Tooley, who's one of the people who helps us with editing here, Colin Tooley came up with this video. And you remember those commercials when you were a kid? This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Well, we're doing a little spin-off of that. This is your brain on corporate media. So each week we're going to show you a ridiculous, laughable thing from corporate media and contrast that to real reporting from us. Part of it is for your entertainment. Part of it is to entice you to contribute to the GoFundMe. So thanks to Colin for this. Let's take a look.
Yeah, CNN correspondent Melissa Bell joins us now, and she's watching those protests expected to get started soon. What are you seeing now, Melissa?
We have the Trump baby. It's been flown here, especially from London. It was, of course, the Trump baby that was on display.
And you don't know what the actual lead levels were here.
I mean, I almost want to cry, but it's like I let my kids drink it, and I drank it, my husband drank it. I don't mean to cry, but I don't know. could have not have gotten sick if I did it the right way, if I just paid for the sink myself, or I don't know.
It's too much. So right now you're not really getting treatment because you can't afford it.
Can't afford nothing. It's not, the healthcare system just sucks. I could leave my husband and get healthcare, but I couldn't. They're gonna do it.
So there you have it. Pretty clever. I like the mocking music at the beginning. Kind of depressing at the end, but we show you the truth. We show you the truth, and a lot of that truth is unjust. A lot of that truth is corrupt, and a lot of that truth is based on the victimization of the American people by the government that screws them. That woman I was interviewing in the back half of that video she's 35, and she's lived in Flint all her life, never had a health problem. You know, went to the doctor, she had a cold or whatever like that, never had a health problem. They switched the water in 2014. Obviously, you know what happened. Lead poisoning everywhere. A couple months later, starts getting some complications of her thyroid, heart palpitations, migraines, feeling exhausted. Then they find spots on her kidney. Then they diagnose her with thyroid cancer. Well, as Jen and I reported, exhaustive, by the way. We've knocked on 450 doors in Flint. We have now 35 residents on the record. Well, the state of Michigan cheated on the Flint water testing. They illegally flushed resident like Amanda's water lines right before testing, which is against the EPA's lead and copper rule. You cannot flush people's water lines right before collecting for lead and copper because it flushes the lead out. So Amanda opened the door for a Michigan Department of Environmental Quality official, and he came in. She thought, oh, he's here. They're testing the water. They're doing something. And guess what? He knowingly, right in front of her, ran her water for a minute and then took the sample. Voila, no lead found. She goes back to drinking it. She goes back to letting her kids drink it. So that's what we're doing. We're out there covering real stuff. We're not out there showing you hot air balloons of Trump. And that's why, you know, a lot of people are like, we get it, we get it. No, you don't get it. We need resources. You need resources to do this kind of reporting. So we're going to keep doing those kinds of videos. We're going to show you the insane and the ridiculous from corporate media, and we're going to contrast it to what we're doing. Obviously, it's not just us. There's some other outlets that do good work, but we do not see any other outlets doing what we're doing, which is rolling up our sleeves and getting out in the field. And Zoxylix, how much money does Jordan spend on his eyebrows? I literally have gotten my eyebrows plucked once in my life, and that was actually during a segment. I was a producer on a show, and the person who was supposed to get their eyebrows plucked backed out, so I had to go in. I don't get my eyebrows plucked. Why? They looking too bushy? So thank you, Colin, for that video. We will... the video is up too, so definitely share that video. Share that video. And we're going to be doing this on a weekly basis if we can. It's called This Is What Your Brain This is Your Brain on Corporate Media. Yeah, kind of weird. So, moving on. Stacey Abrams still fighting for that election down in Georgia. Obviously, you know what I think on that election in Georgia. I wouldn't even call it election. It's a sham. The election has been stolen from her. And one of the issues I have with this, do you hear really from the Democratic Party? I get a lot of fundraising emails from the Democratic Party. I get a lot of emails. Can you help out, Jordan? From Tom Perez. I get a lot of emails. Can you help out, Jordan? From Barack Obama. I get a lot of emails. Can you help out, Jordan? From Terry McAuliffe now. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But I'm not seeing many emails about Stacey Abrams. I'm not seeing many Democrats going on television and saying this election is a sham and we're not accepting the results and waging lawsuits. Are you seeing that? Hey, tell me if you're in Georgia. Am I missing it? This is an election where the Secretary of State has purged hundreds of thousands of voters that, more likely than not, could have been Stacey Abrams voters, predominantly black people they purged. This is a Secretary of State who the Secretary of State's office has refused to release information about county-by-county votes and how many provisional and absentee ballots remain by county to the Stacey Abrams campaign. And this is a Secretary of State running for governor who has pushed forward laughable things like an investigation into hacking by the Democratic Party. I mean, I've already done videos on this. This is a banana republic. This is what happens in banana republics. So the only Democrat that I've heard even say anything about this was today. Or was this yesterday?
New York's newest and closest casino
Hold
resort in the beauty of the Catskills.
Was Sherrod Brown. He's an Ohio senator. I think he just won re-election in Ohio. He might be running for president, which might be why he's speaking up about this. But Sherrod Brown is the first Democrat I've heard, nationally speaking, that has said the obvious. So let's listen to what Sherrod Brown has to say.
Some by pushing others down. That's why I say in America we will never give up the hallowed ground of patriotism to the extremists at our State House, Joyce, and the extremists in this White House. And we also will never give in, as Senator Cardin said, we'll never give in on voting rights. We have seen if Stacey Abrams doesn't win in Georgia, they stole it. It's clear. It's clear. And I say that publicly, it's clear. What they're trying to do in Florida, to the gubernatorial candidate and to the Senate candidate running for re-election. What they tried to do in Ohio with some success by voter purging. What they did in Georgia when they shut down rural precincts that were predominantly African Americans, where many people simply don't have transportation to get to the polls. That's what they do. They can't win elections, because there's way more of us than there are them. They can't win elections fairly. They win elections by redistricting and reapportionment, in voter suppression, in all the ways they try to scare people, particularly people of color, how they make it hard for people on college campuses, especially community college where there are more low-income people and more people of color.
I want to play that one more time.
Publicly, it's clear. We have seen if Stacey Abrams doesn't win in Georgia, they stole it. It's clear. It's clear. And I say that publicly, it's clear. What they're trying to do in Florida. That's
a good start. That's a good start. I like that language. But we need more than that. Leading Democrats should be saying, we cannot accept these electoral results in Georgia until the 340,000 Georgians who were purged off the voter rolls. Greg Palast has done incredible reporting. I've reached out to him to get an interview with him. Haven't heard back. Done incredible reporting. They purged, almost getting closer and closer to 500,000 people. The very Secretary of State running for this office. So Sherrod Brown saying it was stolen is right, but he and the Democratic Party should be going a step further. We do not accept these election results. We will not accept these election results, and we'll see you in court. And I don't care how long it takes. Frankly, Al Gore should have never accepted those results. But somehow, the Democratic Party, it's almost like, oh, well, we don't want to seem like sore losers, and God, there's too much risk actually fighting for something. And this sets a very dangerous precedent. If these results are certified, which I believe they might be certified after Friday, you're setting a precedent that a sitting governor, a sitting Secretary of State, let's say you're a Secretary of State, you're thinking of running in 4 years, you start 4 years before. Doing all the tricks of the trade, purging people, changing registrations, everything Brian Kemp did. Then you run, You're the Secretary of State, so you're basically in charge of who's registered, who's not. You run. You basically rig the election for yourself. So if this is allowed to stand in Georgia, you don't think you're going to see it in other places? I do. Zaxalix. Maybe it'll be riots over elections that end the torture of this slow demise. Honestly, something's got to happen. I'm for peaceful protest. But you know what? The thing that separates fascist countries from democratic countries, there's many things, but one of the major ones is free and fair elections. That's how you have a democracy. Free and fair elections. Well, this isn't a free and fair election. This is a rigged election. And I've gotten some heat, by the way, on social media the last day for having Tim Canova on. People call him a conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. I don't really give a damn. I don't give a damn. Tim Canova was screwed in 2016. There is proof that the board of the supervisor of elections in Broward County, who is an ally of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, broke the law and threw out his ballots, threw out the paper ballots in that race. So why should we have no suspicion on this race down in Florida's 23rd district, where he lost 10,000 votes from 2016 to 2018? He went from 43% to 5% in 2 years. Now, you could think whatever you want about Tim Canova. I mean, I'm not telling you what to think, but common sense, that's a lot to lose in 2 years. Yes, he changed from a Democrat to an independent, but that's still a lot to lose. So, I don't think it could be attributed just to he ran as an independent. And in Georgia, it's easier said than done. I'm not on the campaign, obviously, but Stacey Abrams, I would not concede that election. I would fundraise, and I would get lawyers, and I would sue for them to be a separate election or an extension of the election so those purge voters who were purged wrongly can vote. Now, even if giving back voting rights to those 340,000 people, even if that also gave Brian Kemp votes, obviously it would. You can't certify elections. You can't act as if elections are legal when they've been rigged. And by the way, Robert Parry, he was a journalist. He died earlier this year. He and his organization, Consortium News, when covering President Bush, they never called him President Bush because they said he wasn't legally elected. And that's true. So they never, in writing and anything on Consortium News, they never addressed him as President Bush. So I'm sorry. Democratic Party, Nancy Pelosi's sitting there. We're gonna try and be bipartisanship in the what does she say? The marketplace of ideas, but we're gonna stand our ground when we have to. Well, this is where the Democratic Party should be standing its ground, among other things. When the first potential African-American governor of Georgia has the election stolen from her, when the election is rigged by a white, bigoted politician in Brian Kemp, you don't just sit there and take it. Period. End of story. And so you have the latest update from Georgia. This is from this afternoon. All but one of Georgia's 159 counties have certified their election results. Secretary of State's office said in an email that only Gwinnett County has not yet certified its results by midday Wednesday. The deadlines for counties to certify their results was 5 p.m. Tuesday, but a federal judge on Tuesday ordered Gwinnett County not to reject absentee ballots solely because the elector's year of birth was missing or incorrect. She ordered Gwinnett election officials not to certify the results until all those absentee ballots had been tallied. The state has until November 20th to do the final certification of the election results. A federal judge on Monday ordered the Secretary of State not to do the final certification before this Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern. So, I don't know what you guys think, but I do not think they should concede this election. I think they should say, we will see you in court. All of those purge voters need to have their voting rights reinstated. Thank you, Squirrel Lips, $1.99 on the Super Chat. Appreciate it. Hermeneutic says, any organization that does nothing to correct this kind of corruption, it's not worth preserving and should be replaced. Can we replace the United Corporations of America? I think so. That's what we're trying to do here. That's status quo. Which I don't do this often, but I have to pee. So give me a minute while I play what we're trying to do here at Status Quo. Hopefully you get a little inspiration to contribute a few dollars to our GoFundMe. Here we go.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We're in tonight with the president not saying something, not tweeting, not punching back. Nothing at all about Stormy Daniels.
I don't like that people like when I'm with you more than when I'm not.
Lock us up at the gates of hell and we won't back down. We will stand our ground.
Our kids breaking out in blisters.
Lock us up at the gates of hell and we won't back down. We will stand our ground. The
government and the media would rather focus on the president's tweets, scary boogeymen from Russia, instead of people being poisoned.
We were driving up and we started seeing the lines to this church here. A lot of the churches in Flint are distribution centers for free bottled water.
It's sad to see that 4 years later, we're still going through the same thing as if it happened 3 months ago.
They said, oh, your water's totally clear for lead, it's fine. There's no way for them to know that.
I really do believe that this water, from us consuming all of this stuff, that is what caused my miscarriages.
I'm all broke out. I have picked my own pictures. I'm all broke out. I'm diabetic. I have like webs. And this is from the water.
You killed his body, then you killed his name. Why are you here if you have no answer?
Eric Cherry was killed on the streets of Chicago at 16 years old. That's my grandson.
We saw 24-year-old Maurice Granton shot in the back while running for police.
Right now, there is a hunt, and black boys are the prey.
When it was communities who are mostly wealthy, mostly white, it's like the pain is felt. But with something about our communities where I see our youth having to fight, literally needing support to get the rest of the world to understand that the everyday shootings they have to see and go right back to school after their friend was killed is just as painful. Like literally having to convince society that we can't take more pain, that we can't take this no more.
Polluting the water? Since when is profit more important than water? When is profit more important than people?
Hey, it's Jordan. I'm here in Flint, Michigan. I am here on Lakeshore Drive here in Chicago. I am here live in Dallas, beautiful Virginia. Hey, it's Jordan. I'm live in Arlington, Texas. Look at this destruction. You're not going to see this anywhere. You think CNN's coming up here? Please. Yeah, if you could prove Putin cut down the trees, they'll be here in a jiffy.
Status Coup. Is it now? It's going to be called. Is it going to be statuscoup.com?
Yes. Most people are not lacking compassion. Most people do not know what the fuck is going on. There you have it, folks. That was a lovely time in the bathroom. And right now, we are at $20,115. Would love to see that go up. Our goal at the end of November, for the end of November, is $25,000. This Sunday, I will be doing another marathon live stream. The first time I did 7.5 hours. That was exciting. We raised a lot of money that Sunday. This Sunday, who knows? Who knows? I never set a time. It depends how many of you will join me. It depends how many of you will help us raise our goal, raise our money. We're also going to be doing some other things. And, you know, we got some tricks up our sleeves for this Sunday. So join me this Sunday. What do you think, Jen? 12 o'clock Eastern? Is that a good time? 9 o'clock Pacific? I think so. I think so. So, I want to share that video. It's right on the GoFundMe page. So, go contribute to the GoFundMe and go share that video. Ty worked really hard. Endo, Jordan, sell your sperm, then buy it for $1,000 a month. What? Sounds like you've done this before. I don't want to be selling sperm. Maybe I'll sell my plasma. Maybe I'll sell some blood. But I don't want to sell any sperm. The big finish. The big finish. And press the share button. Let's get this out there to more people. And by the way, to you Facebook folks, we have 9 people watching on Facebook. The reason that on Facebook you get silence sometimes is because the program that we're using only allows us to show video and clips on Periscope and on YouTube. There is a program that costs about $1,000 that we could add Facebook to it. We just haven't had the money yet. So that's part of what we're trying to raise money for. It's a program called Wirecast, which will allow us to add Facebook on so everybody can see videos we're playing and all that stuff. So GoFundMe to help us raise the money for that too. So when I was at the Young Turks, I covered, in addition to the Flint water crisis, I covered a story in East Chicago, Indiana, which honestly is kind of just as bad as Flint, just in a different way. Oh, thank you. Panayotis how do you pronounce this name? Hold on. We got a $30 GoFundMe contribution from Panayotis Damatopoulos. Probably said that wrong. Thank you for the $30, Panayotis. That brings us to $20,145. Can we get to 20,250 by the end of this? Let's see. So, East Chicago had a similar lead problem because East Chicago was a poor Black and Latino community basically built on top of toxic shit. There was a poor Black government housing complex built on top of a lead smelting plant. There was residential housing built literally next to the DuPont insecticide factory. DuPont was there. East Chicago at one point was the most industrialized city in the United States. And if you're beginning to notice something, they generally like to build their toxic shithole plants in America where poor people, where Black people, where Latinos, where indigenous people live. That's why you see all these mines next to Native American reservations. They're putting all these pipelines through Native American reservations or Black communities because, you know, Native Americans, Black people, well, you know, if they get sick or they can't breathe or they get a little cancer, that's just the price of doing business, right? That's just the price of doing business. So, East Chicago, in 2016, I was on the ground there, they found lead levels more than 200 times the limit, the allowed limit, in the soil in one complex. I remember I was there, I literally couldn't breathe after an hour, so imagine growing up there as a child. I was so stuffed up. They had toxic levels of soil, toxic levels of arsenic in the soil there. And I asked an EPA official on the ground there, this was in 2016 when I was at the Young Turks, have you guys tested the water? And he told me, no, this is not a water issue. This is not a Flint issue. It's not the same thing as Flint. This is just the soil. Just the soil. So, of course, that wasn't true. The EPA is either grossly incompetent or they're constantly fudging data and lying. So, a couple months after that, they find lead in the water. Have they tested all the homes in East Chicago, Indiana for lead or arsenic contamination? Of course not. And in Michigan right now, they found a PFAS contamination epidemic. PFAS are porphyrinactic acids. They are chemicals that are the byproducts of the process of making non-stick cookware, like Teflon. So the shorthand is PFAS. They are toxic chemicals. They could cause cancer. They have found them in North Carolina. They have found them in the Ohio River Valley area in Florida. And now they've found them in Michigan. But Michigan has acted very quickly. Why? Because they found them in white communities that are middle class and have some money. So they have been acting very quickly on it, sending in the bottled water and trying to clean it up. But in Flint, they told them for 18 months, don't believe the hair falling out of your head. Don't believe the nosebleeds you have. Don't believe the terrible rashes all over you. There's nothing here. So, East Chicago, Indiana, you would think, okay, they found lead levels 200 times the allowable limit in this complex. You'd think they might want to clean that up, like pretty much right when they found it. Well, apparently you'd be wrong. EPA plans soil removal at lead-tainted Indiana complex. This is 2.5 years later. This complex, let me remind you, poor black people. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is moving ahead with a plan for a 2-foot deep removal of lead and arsenic contaminated soil at the site of a northwestern Indiana public housing that's been evacuated and demolished over health concerns. The agency estimates the cleanup project at the East Chicago's West Calumet housing complex will cost about $26 million. It would involve removing more than 160,000 cubic yards of soil contaminated over decades by a lead products factory and replacing it with clean soil and seed or sod. It's not just lead, it's arsenic too. More than 1,000 people, including about 700 children, were forced from the housing complex after 2016 tests found high blood lead levels in blood samples from some children and some yards, with lead levels over 70 times the U.S. safety standard. Oh my God. These people, the Associated Press doesn't even know what the hell it's talking about. It wasn't over 70 times. The lead levels in the soil were over 200 times the, quote, safety limit. I don't know where they're getting their numbers. It wasn't some yards. It was the whole fucking complex. Under the EPA's plan for bringing the Superfund site to residential standards, soil below 2 feet would remain. Quote, we made a promise to the residents of East Chicago to make this site a priority, and now we are ready to put shovels in the ground and clean up the site, EPA Region 5 administrator said. The housing complex was near the site of U.S. Smelter and Lead Refinery, which salvaged lead from old car batteries and scrap metal before it closed in 1985. Mayor Anthony Copeland has told the EPA that he's talked with developers considering commercial or industrial projects for the site, aka gentrification, while advocates for former West Calumet residents argue new housing should be built there. Thomas Frank, who I've interviewed many times, a member of Calumet Lives Matters, said many other non-residential locations in the city are more suitable to business or other industrial developments. What's so important about that is the residents in Calumet would have never agreed to demo of West Calumet but for the promise that this would be redeveloped as housing. So of course, like in Flint, they are trying to use the Flint water crisis as an excuse to bulldoze the hell out of the north side, which is the poorest part of Flint. They want to push the poor black people out of there, and they want to make it a nice college town. Build up some complexes, put in a Whole Foods, some bars, some restaurants. Development, they call it. Off the carcasses of poisoned residents. And now they're doing the same thing in Indiana. So I was there. I've been to East Chicago 6 times. And by the way, this was the quiet crisis. This happened under Vice President Mike Pence when he was governor of Indiana. You know, Vice President Mike Pence, when he was governor of Indiana, didn't have a problem going to Greentown, Indiana, which is 97% white. They had a problem with their water, lead found in the water. He went up there so quick, as Trump would say, your head would spin. That problem was fixed 2 months. Natural Progressive. Jordan needs to come to Utah. Give him a tour. Hey, Natural Progressive, I got something for you. Putting it in here. Boom. GoFundMe. Never been to Utah. Jordan doesn't fly. Cone? I fly all the time. What are you talking about? So, there's many problems with this. Number one, they did not help these people in this complex move. They gave them a little money, but most of them had to find places to live on their own. Many of them had forced eviction and were given addresses they had to go to, not by choice. I know people. Hold on. I'm getting a breaking news alert. Jen, send me the link to that. I don't want to say it if I don't know. I know people that literally got a letter saying you have to be out in 10 days. Poor black woman with kids had to be out in 10 days, and they're moving to Chicago, to a dangerous neighborhood in Chicago. So the residents were told, we're going to bulldoze the complex, we're going to clean it up, and then we're going to create more government housing for the poor. Well, first of all, it took them 2 years to clean up this soil. Just because they demolished the complex doesn't mean that lead and arsenic isn't contaminating the surrounding areas. Why did it take 2 years? Why did it take 2 years? Why? Because they're poor black people. That's why. If this happened anywhere else, if this happened on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, they'd be in 2 hours cleaning it up. They put people in hotels for as long as it took, and they clean it up quickly. But in this case, it took 2 years to clean this up. 2.5, actually. And now they want to build a new development for commercial development, aka probably a nice little yuppie complex. It's disgusting. You force these people out after moving them in on top of a toxic lead smelting plant that the EPA and state environmental officials and landlords knew was dangerous to them. Environmental racism at its peak. And as a breaking news alert, Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, has been arrested for an alleged domestic violence incident. Ooh, the irony. I will hold my judgment. I haven't read into this, so I don't know what happened. But Michael Avenatti, multiple outlets are reporting, who represents Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal, the two women who have accused President Trump of some things. He also tried to get involved in the Kavanaugh ordeal. He's been arrested for an alleged domestic violence. Darth, shock, horror. Phil, of course. I don't want to laugh. I mean, it's not funny. I don't know the details, so I don't know if it's true or not. Polish Hammer, new hot convict. America has turned into a Seinfeld episode. I wish it was actually funny, because Seinfeld's funny. But I'm angry on behalf of the people of East Chicago, Indiana. Imagine for a second, if you have kids, you're poor, you find a complex that's a government housing complex. Nobody says a thing to you about, this was built in the shadow of a lead smelting plant that emitted lead, arsenic. Not a word to you about that. You move in. Your kid growing up has learning difficulties, has constant bronchitis, behavior problems. You don't know what the hell's going on. Then in 2016, you're told, we found extremely dangerous toxic levels of lead and arsenic that have been here for decades, but were never tested. And you guys have to, we're demolishing the complex. You guys have to find a new place to live. Poor people, this is. Thank you, Carrie. $20 on the super chat. Some reports out that California fire is now in danger of having nuclear ash. Oh, God. Good God. If you remember, Carrie, when I was at the Young Turks, I was covering a nuclear waste site in the St. Louis area, like right outside of St. Louis, that the nuclear waste site is literally right next to a landfill, and that landfill had an underground methane fire. An underground methane fire that was never, it's just raging underground. Methane, underground, an inferno. And the EPA has never measured how close that underground fire is to that nuclear waste site. But if that nuclear waste site and that underground fire hit, it could be a nuclear explosion that goes all the way from Missouri into Illinois. That's not me saying it, that's experts on the ground saying it. In that community, I think it's called Bridgeton, the Bridgeton landfill, literally kids have to go outside when they play with masks on. Carrie says, wow, unbelievable the crap our government gets away with. They're not going to get away with it if status quo is on the beat. We're in our infancy, baby. We're just getting our training wheels on. We still got diapers on. We just launched the website. We're about to pass 22,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. We're raising money as fast as we can so we could get out in the field and stay out in the field. We're not going to be like everybody else on the 2020 campaign trail. We're not just going to go to cover primaries. Well, first of all, we don't have the money to do any of that right now. We're going to go into communities and we're going to show you what they are voting based on. We are going to show you the injustice. We are going to show you the corruption. We are going to show you the environmental genocide, the police brutality, the economic oppression. I don't care how gray my hair has to get. A little sensitive about that. Got a couple grays coming in. And get on that email list. Jen's putting it right there. If you're not on that email list, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. So, all these people, they were forced out of this complex. They're forced out of this complex. They were told, we're going to rebuild the complex, another government housing complex, and they were lied to. And now they're probably going to build a nice gentrified complex and bring young college students and yuppies in. The lies were told. That's it for today, folks. I will be live tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Ty is going to be... I want you to start setting your calendar, because YouTube apparently doesn't want to notify anyone. I'm live every single day, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's make it a party. Or a funeral, whichever way you look at it. 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Be here. Yeah, just be here. Ty will be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Right now, we're starting slow. He doesn't have too much experience at this, so we're trying to help him grow as a journalist. So we're going to do 3 days a week, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So Ty is 1 o'clock Eastern, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm 5 o'clock Eastern every day. And if we can convince Jennifer... If we could convince Jennifer Dies, the president of Status Quo, should be president of the world, to get on here, we will. But, you know, she's not a big fan of the camera just yet. Am I embarrassing her? And as a reminder, folks, as a reminder, I'm not asking you to support our GoFundMe for my health. I'm not asking you so that we could go party out, you know, fist bumping. I'm asking you because real reporting takes real resources. But I've seen what real reporting can do. We have the ability to wake a lot of people up. If we do it right, we also have the ability to take down some corrupt people and deliver some justice. So I hope you could budget in, even if it's $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you could do, to our GoFundMe. I also hope, if you can't contribute, that you'll share it. And don't just casually share it, push it. Push that GoFundMe, like your life depends on it. We want to build this community. It's great that we've had raised $20,000 in, over $20,000 in just 2 months. But it's also great that it's been from 310 people. We want to get that number up. And that number, if that number goes up, it helps us when we reach out to other outlets and sources that we're trying to get funding from. We're not trying to get funding from George Soros or any big plutocrats. We're trying to get people that are aligned with our goals and our vision and our idea of journalism. Because the only people I'm really interested in answering to are you. Polish Hammer says, and you push the good people to take that extra step to make the world a better place. That's right. Thank you for watching. And remember, most people are not lacking compassion in this country. Most people have no fucking idea what's happening. Just none. Peace out.